Lulz is back after a little holiday hiatus. We can see what the crew has been up to. Check in on the latest in the DFS/gambling/prediction markets world. Happy 2026 from Brick and Pete. Let's do it.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
All right, Brian, it's been a hot minute. How was your New Year's?
Good. Can't complain. How about yours?
It was good. Yeah, low key. Oh man, my camera has been giving me issues lately, Brian. It's driving me crazy. If it cuts in and out, I might have to switch to my other webcam.
All right.
But yeah, it was good. What did we do New Year's? We went out for Chinese food early in the evening with April. Got her to bed and had some champagne and called it a night early. That was my New Year's. Yeah.
I'm not down for staying up late on New Year's these days, Pete.
My mom asked me on the phone, my mom, she's just the queen of small talk. But I just started laughing when she's like, did you guys stay up till midnight? I literally just started, I was like, no, Mom, for what? To watch the ball drop on my TV while my eyes are bleeding, like trying to keep them open for that? No, Mom, I didn't stay up for that.
Did you see that trending smoke sign ball drop thing on Twitter?
No. What was that?
I think it's in LA or somewhere. There's like this smoking death sign that turns to 0 at New Year's every year, and people have started going there to celebrate. So there's some guy up there changing the sign. They're like, yay!
That sounds better than being like smushed into Times Square and having to pee in your pants and all of that stuff.
Yeah. No, thanks. I mean, I get it. Something to do back when you're young and looking to party, but yeah, no, thank you.
We're washed. We're absolutely washed. Brian, what's this throwback? You're a super draft hat, huh?
Yeah, I just saw it on my pile of hats over here, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about the super draft hat. That's a little. See if anyone gets this.
Yeah, man, that was.
I know you would, but who knows?
That was an old school one, for sure. How been things going? In-game syndicate, run the Sims, winding down the NFL football season.
Yeah, I had to convert over to the postseason today. It was a little bit of a pain, but other than that, everything's rolling. We'll make it free for Super Bowl like we did last year.
Nice.
And then NBA and PGA now.
Nice.
Going forward.
Yeah, what is this like? PGA season's just now kind of getting
we're gonna go the 15th. I don't know. That's what Drew said. He pays attention to Radicich, pays attention to PGA well more than I do. So
yeah. The God damn this fucking camera, man. What is it? Is it the Sony Open that's on the 15th?
I think so. I saw it. I didn't catch the name of it though, but it looked like there's pretty good prize pools and everything. So
yeah. I know Splash, we've been doing some of the Survivor stuff. I know they're going to have a big contest on there for that one too. So it does feel like everybody's getting ready here for golf season.
Yeah.
All right. I'm officially switching to my other webcam here.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's not as good, but you were saying like at the beginning there, 2020, 2026, and like what's going on in the markets and everything. I was like, I wonder if we should do some predictions. Like, do you think prediction markets are legal in 2026? Are they booming? Is it bigger than sports books by the end of 2026?
I mean, we were talking with sports projections about this a little bit, and I think I agreed with his take that at least under the current administration, I don't think there's a lot of risk for the prediction market stuff to get shut down. But I do wonder, more like midterm, what would that be? 2 to 3 years down the road, if there is a lot of risk after that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's true, which I think it's a reasonable assumption, but you never know, right?
Yeah.
I would say it's probably pretty safe then, because it's hard to reverse after they're entrenched. If they get 3-4 years of regulation and the states kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
I think it's the prediction markets are going to do just fine in 2026 would be my guess. I think they might take some L's though. They might take some L's in like, pick your state, California or something. They might take an L somewhere, but other than that, I think they're going to do pretty well 2026.
Especially if that guy we've pulled up from the Indian casino board, what's his name? Yeah, Levitan told us we got to be careful with that guy.
Maybe we shouldn't mention his name.
Yeah, no, just a man who tweets a lot about not being happy about prediction market workarounds in California.
Yeah. Entertainment purposes only, sir. Please don't kill us. Go ahead.
Reminds me, did you see the thing that was transpiring a couple days ago with collusion in the DraftKings best ball streets, and then guys essentially going after Herzig? I mean, that was, I don't know if it was actually ever fully connected, maybe someone in the chat, but it seemed like way too much of a coincidence that Herzig was leading the charge about, doxing these guys who were cheating. And then all of a sudden his DraftKings accounts were trying to get hacked by these guys. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see that. Get that deep into it. I saw the collusion thing. Yeah. I saw he talked to like the integrity team.
Yeah, let me see. If
I didn't see that so these guys are. You see, this is I don't understand. This is if this is true what you're saying, like not that I have any reason to doubt you, but like that they're capable of figuring out how to hack somebody.
Yeah. And again, it's hard for me to know for a fact, but look at this. So, I mean, Justin thought it. He said they're trying to fight back, sign in, stop. This is his Google account. Then they were trying to do the like Google phone call hacking. And I've gotten stuff like this as well before. So it could be like a coincidence, but the fact that it did come after he was pounding the drum or whatever to get these cheaters is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's possible, but that doesn't necessarily, because everyone gets these days, right? There's you got to really be careful with these attempts. They're from all over the place.
Sure.
But yeah, it's because I was thinking about like with like the Chauncey Billups and the Italian mob and the Israeli mob and all that stuff we were covering a month or two ago. And it's like if you have like 6-10 dudes who are capable of putting together this big scam that gets like celebrities involved, and like you know how to like run a poker room and then have all this high tech equipment to scam people, it's like, couldn't you guys just do something legitimate to make money?
Yeah.
Like it's it's 2026. Seems like a lot of fucking effort to scam some celebrities out of money.
For sure. And I mean, this is a great example too of like the playoff best ball streets where there is so much variance, and even building a super team in round one, like how is the juice worth the squeeze of this kind of operation from these guys?
And like, that's why I was thinking of if they're actually setting up like computer software programs to now get revenge on Herzig. It's like, you probably have the skill level to do plenty of things to make a little extra scratch. Like,
yes,
it's like, I don't know. Cause I always feel like just criminals are just like, they're basically just dummies. They have no other option because they're stupid. They can't, they mentally can't make money. It's the vast majority of them. And so I don't understand like, the mindset here. Cause like somebody who usually does, because this was popular back in the poker days too. Like sit and goes were huge when it first started. Dudes would play with each other. And I remember playing with my buddy. And we didn't even realize, like, we were just like, let's play a sit and go, because you're used to playing a little poker tournament with your friends at home. What's the difference? And then it's like, eventually, like, wait a second, we could cheat. We're at the same table.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like, you get some 21-year-old kid or whatever the age is to sign up. And they're just entering, oh shit, if we click at the same time, get in the same one, we could just do a mega team. And it's like, That's true. You might want to think through these implications, like, or what might actually happen to you. But if you're smart enough to then do all this high tech, computer stuff, you figure you wouldn't, go through all this.
For sure. And this is the other thing that someone dug up. So let me pull this tweet up here as part of this. Here we go. So then they found this username, this guy on Twitter. And I'm not even going to try to attempt this name actually I will. Rajinder Balasuria. Not bad, Peter. But I believe this was like the exact username as this guy, Rajinder13. And so he has a message to DK Assist from January 8th. This is right after all this stuff with DraftKings figuring out that he was part of this collusion team. And he said, please respond to your messages. Like, he's upset about his account getting, banned, not being able to get his money. He's saying right here, I'm very disappointed about your customer service. There's no number to call you, and email support has not resolved my issue. Meanwhile, he is part of the people that they found colluding together in all of these rooms.
Yeah. And of course, right. They have, this is just classic scam behavior. It's like, oh, your customer service is so bad. Could you go on his name and see country of origin?
Well,
just for shits and gigs, join date. Go to the join date. You're right there. Yeah. If you click that, so he's United States based.
But it's funny though you say that, because look at one of his. Not that this means he's in Sri Lanka, but he says, Elon, are you able to provide Starlink internet to Sri Lanka for free at this current time where people there are affected by the severe flooding weather situation? Maybe he has family back home.
Could have family, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they are getting the, American account access, that's another.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not. He's very into cricket. He's very into cricket. Yeah, he's into cricket and tried to get all 4 of the premium Rams pieces on his DraftKings.
And ruining Justin Herzig's life. This is what this man's gonna do.
Yeah. So there was that. It was, one of the knocks has been like, DraftKings doesn't pay close attention to like what's happening in these lobbies. And it really takes an uproar from Twitter and multiple people that have a little bit of a pull, like Herzig, messaging their reps and contacts and being like, hey, you guys gotta look at this. And they, it seems like they did here. I know Andy had got the email from them that says, hey, we canceled the draft here because this was I think a $333 draft. So, expensive contest certainly ruins the integrity of the whole thing if you get a few of these super teams in there.
Yeah, definitely. I saw somebody tweet out too. There was a lot of people complaining about releasing like data on these events.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but we've said it for years on this show. Like, the best detectives are the players, not the site. So there's pluses and minuses to releasing the data, but one of them is definitely helping find some of these scammers.
Yeah.
And I say, I'd be as lenient as possible on the scammers as well, because you do want bad players to be bad. If you want a skill gap possible in these, which I think most players do, because they want to have a skill edge and make some money in theory. Eventually, you have to allow bad players to just draft like donkey teams and just,
of course.
But clearly, this is cheating.
Yes. So
it's good they got it right. It seems like.
Yeah, no, they did get this one right. But yeah, no, I agree. I think having all of the pick by pick data, it's like we have so many people who will go amateur sleuthing on this stuff that will happily, you can crowdsource this. You don't even have to pay. Like, obviously you want an automated checks and balances that like flags really egregious things, but like, why not weaponize the community to be your secondhand watchdogs?
Yeah. You don't think there'll be like a group of guys going like through Liam's shit just for a chance to make fun of him? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I mean, look at the, our guy Patrick Donovan, who created the BBMDB database. Like, it's become an entire genre or like sub niche of best ball of just seeing what influencers are doing in drafts, seeing how their advance rates are, dunking on people whose names rhyme with Schmavis Caddick, and like that. They, people love that kind of shit. It's like, yeah, give everybody the data. They will tell you everything. They will go through and tell you which time of day Liam was drafting. They love that shit.
It's great. No, I think that's all good for the the environment of this world that we're kind of involved in. It can't be good for like the mental health of a lot of people. I think Davis handles it pretty well. I don't know how you feel about it. I think he's grown. Oh yeah, because he's kind of like grown up, in this industry. So like he's got pretty thick skin. I don't get it, like that general demeanor. It's like, what do you want out of, like, this is their job, is to have takes. Like, it's literally his job. Like, what do you want out of these people?
Yeah. No. People want it. They want it both ways, right? Like they want the entertainment. They want someone talking about what they're interested in, creating content, but then they also want to feel smarter than that person. They also want to feel there's this element of being like, I could do that. I could be up there. Like, I have good takes. I'm a good drafter. Like, why do you get the site credits? Why don't I get the site credit? And that's dovetails into people being mean or trying to.
Yeah, that's because like when I'm watching like Madden content creaters, I see like they have more takes than Davis Maddock. I didn't think it was
really
possible. They're like, this is the exact ranking of the MVP orders. This is exactly how good this team is, and these players who shouldn't be playing, and all this.
Are these Madden specific takes or like NFL at large takes?
No, well, they pause like the Madden commentary and talk about real NFL.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, holy, you guys are in the wrong industry. You guys should be DFS guys with this fucking type of bullshit. It's like, why do you think you know anything? It baffles me.
Do you think it's easier for, say, a Madden commenter whose like job, like fantasy sports, when you're doing it both from a content creation standpoint and from playing, you very quickly get humbled. You very quickly understand range of outcomes, probabilistic thinking. You kind of shade your advice in less absolutes because you understand like that's how this world and market works. I wonder if the Madden stuff, because they don't ever have to stress test their ideas with skin in the game necessarily. So you could just say whatever the fuck you want, and guys got to be like, all right, yeah, I guess Matthew Stafford should be MVP. It's like it's not like you're going to show your bet receipt of how I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's a big part of it. I think another part of it is just there is just a lot, like you were just saying, kind of, which made me remind of it. There's just a lot of people like out there that are like that. But if you don't get humbled by gambling, DFS, poker, whatever it is that you're into, you could definitely. I mean, I would probably be the same way, honestly. Like if I never played DFS and I was still like a huge sports fan, I'd probably have some takes myself.
Well, the whole thing about that thing, and I mean, this is like the age-old stuff with, engagement baiting, rage baiting. It's like you can have it two ways. You can try to be right as much as possible, and your analysis will be nuanced and stuff, but it's not going to spark debate. You're not going to have a lot of people hating on you. You're not going to have a lot of people sharing your stuff because you're being measured. Or you can have hot takes. You can say things that maybe you come across as being 100% true, and that's just like not the case. But then you also have to deal with the shitstorm. Some people are willing to have that trade-off of like, my mentions can be a disaster. I'll just have my popcorn because I'm getting the engagement. I am not built like that. Like I don't want that as part of my life, but some people thrive off of that shit. And then there's the feedback loop of, oh, this is how I get attention. Let me just keep saying increasingly crazier things or hot takes because I know I have people baiting into falling for my engagement bait.
That and there's like the kind of the GTO guy who's like, if I tweet this exact phrasing with this at this time, I get X more percent, signups for my affiliate and, and all this, all that type of shit too. That is another aspect of the game. And I mean, it's hard because the results for a lot of those guys, they do really well. You know who made this comment kind of was Rufus. I don't know if you caught Rufus was on the guy's podcast, the Rick Sakers podcast.
I was actually just listening to that earlier today.
Did you get to the point where Rufus was talking about unabated?
Yeah, and how he like doesn't want to be in the content tout game, really.
Yeah, well, and his reasoning was totally valid. In
Yeah.
my opinion, and he kind of mentions like the difference between like Odds Jam or whatever. I think it was Odds Jam,
Yeah.
and them, and it's like, yeah, they do all the email marketing and all this other stuff that he. I don't know if he said this verbatim, but it's basically like, that they don't want to do. He doesn't want to be a part of or whatever. And I was thinking like, shit, that's exactly like us too, kind of like, not only I don't think like it takes a lot of work to do some of that stuff,
Yeah.
but like leaving that aspect of it aside, like we just want to make like cool tools, but like,
Yeah.
they don't really, most people, they don't care. Like the guys, who have the hot give a shit a lot of times, they don't,
Yeah.
like, no, it's Stafford should be MVP. Like, and I watched a lot of ball, so
Yeah.
your tools are probably shitty too, stuff like they just, and then Odds Jam sells for $50 trillion, and your company's not worth much.
Yeah, I do. I pulled it up on screen. I recommend listening to this podcast. We had sports projections on I don't know, a month or so ago, and then he does the show with Golden Pants, who I believe said would come on Lowell sometime, so we should take him up on that.
Yes.
But that actually reminds me too. Yeah, I was listening to Levitan's solo podcast, and now that I've taken off the mask as the cash game king, I can engage with his content on a more nuanced, less hot takey level. But he was talking about how one of the reasons, he said twofold of like why he might not play as much cash going forward. One, obviously, just like not as good of action. People are tougher. People running the same trains. The edges are evaporating. But the other part of it was, he wants to be able to kind of like IKB some spots, use his takes, but people hold his feet to the fire so much relative to ETR projections and what's being touted. And like, there's this back and forth of like, oh, Levitan played a guy who wasn't listed by Wiggins in top plays. Like, that's disingenuous. And it's like, it ruins like the whole thing. It's like, if I just have to be a mirror of the collective ETR take on a slate, like how fun is that for someone to have to play under that kind of scrutiny? Like, I completely sympathize with that kind of thought as well, which again goes back to the content element of doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then customer service too, where
Yep.
ETR is pretty big, and like they're gonna have to deal with that customer service. Where like I would just be like, yeah, I don't know, Adam, that was Adam's take. I don't give a shit, that was Judah's take, and Adam and him disagree. I don't know what to tell you, pal. Like, leave us alone. Go sub somewhere else, which is not good for your subs. But I mean, he also. I did think there was a little results mindset in that. I listened to Adam's podcast too, because it was right after he was saying like after week like whatever 14 he started losing.
Yeah, because he was
like, well,
on
yeah,
fire. Yeah.
If you get killed in week 14, you're gonna be like, maybe next year I shouldn't play in week 14. Although I mean, he's probably right.
I'm the same way. It was like last year I had the best DFS season of my life, and the BRs just Sun Run was playing well, everything lined up, and I was just like fired up to play again. And now this year it's like I don't want to draft a BR team for a long time. Like, I want some time off. I need to rethink how I'm going to play these games next year, how much volume I'm going to do. Like, losing does that to you. It will completely reorient how you think about these things.
It sure fucking will. Reorient how you think about your life, much less just the game.
I know I've had multiple conversations with certain people, and it's not my stuff to tell, but just people who have been like, chasing these dog bowl qualifiers or something like that, a top heavy contest. They're like, it fucked me up mentally, like hearing that stuff. And it's like, it is true. The wear and tear of continuous losing, specifically when you're chasing top heavy, tournament prizes, it adds up for sure.
They talked about this on the podcast too, Rufus, towards the end. So it's a long podcast, so if people didn't make it there. He's kind of I'm paraphrasing again. Rufus has been on the show a couple times. I think we should have him back, though. We haven't had him in a while.
Yeah.
He's like generally speaking thinks sports betting's bad for society.
Yeah.
And and he also thinks social media and other things like that might also be bad for society. And it's kind of hard to disagree with him, but like just thinking of that dichotomy that you just mentioned right there, like along with that, it's like, what's worse? Like the smart guy who spends his life trying to beat the game and then loses and then all fucked up, or the bro who spends $20 a weekend watching a game at Buffalo Wild Wings with his friends. Like a lot of the guys I know who bet sports, they get like almost out of it. I know it sounds crazy. That doesn't mean there's not gambleaholics, and maybe generally speaking, it's bad for society on averages. I don't know, but like even the fucking sharps like go to therapy and shit like that, like overplaying. No, maybe that just means it's all bad, but I don't know.
And there's a reason that people like Rufus. I hear about it a lot more, I would say, in like the poker world from those types of guys. But there's been such a prominence placed on like healthy living, like meditation practices, unplugging, because like you need the yin to the yang of being like within this gambling world, because it will like rot your brain if you're not doing the things to like protect yourself, where it's like, all right, I'm stepping into this arena, living with all of this in my headspace, but then I need to be able to eject with it and have some like healthy things about my life to make this sustainable. Otherwise you are just going to completely spiral.
Yeah. And I wonder how many of these parallels with just like pretty much anything else in life too, Pete. Like, yeah, if you're working, I don't know, some job that is maybe not mentally taxing and you're not competing with somebody or stuff like that, you won't have any of these issues. But I bet the guys in the finance world have it. I bet, the CEOs maybe competing in their industry and all sorts of people get issues from things that aren't gambling related. And, as we talked on the show a bunch of times too, like with the addiction rates and co-addictions along with gambling, like there's a lot of problems people would have without gambling at all, in like so many other industries and recreational vices and stuff like that.
That reminds me, did you see this Ramsey clip that went viral this week?
I did, but yeah, let's
watch. Yeah, because I wanted to bring this up because I just did like a joke retweet off of it, and then I got like some mentions of.
I do love the Ramsey memes though. Like almost all of them are like, so you spend all your money.
Yeah, the memes are great. So this, if you can't see the caption here, it's online sports gambling is destroying a generation of young men. Here's the 33-second clip. Tell me if you can hear this, Brian.
The fastest growing addiction destroying young men in their 20s is online sports gambling. FanDuel is a portal to hell. DraftKings ain't king of nothing except their own pocketbook. And they're screwing an entire generation of young men because you don't win. That's why they can afford to buy ads. They're back to back ads every time you turn on a sporting event. They're spending billions of dollars. You know where they're getting that? It's out of your kid's freaking pocket, because they're screwing an entire generation. This is evil stuff right here. The fastest.
So pretty classic type of clip that goes viral, where there's definitely some truth to what he's saying. And then there's also just some absurd hyperbole, which if he didn't say a portal to hell, does this clip go mega viral?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
He should also tell my mom this, because she's like, Pete and Davis they need to do more of this best of the playoff content, where you pick one guy from each team.
Oh, just like the more traditional, like
she's in playoff. Yeah. She's like, they need to do a show. They're not servicing the market. I'm like, I'll tell them. I'll be sure to tell them. I'm like, she's gambling more on the postseason than I am.
Yeah.
The thing I always add into this conversation is how like they never mention the entertainment aspect of it, where if you think of this as you're purely betting because you think you have a chance to win or something like that, then listen, there's tons of problems. It's always hard to defend these companies, but because they limit everyone. But you don't get you don't win any money at a movie, and the movie might suck. And so, like, if you're betting on the Bears game and then you go watch it and it adds entertainment value. I just saw one of your shows yesterday, Peter, 2 days ago, when you're going to the Celtics game. and you're like trying to get a couple extra little, bets down to ramp up your enjoyment level at the game. And to me, that makes because like my buddy's coming up for playoff. We do this every year with the playoffs, so we're getting our bets in line now. And I'm like, in Utah's Discord, what do we got this weekend?
I saw you asking him about the Chargers one. You're like, what do you like for Saturday?
Yeah, what do you like? What do you like? Normally I wouldn't give a shit, but we're going to be going and watching it. And, it makes it that much more entertaining. And I don't think I'm going to have, an edge on an NFL playoff side. It's purely just makes it more entertaining for me. And they can't grasp that. They just think, no, it's the Wild West where they're shading the roulette table down to 00 on you and you can't beat it. And they're just outlaws robbing you blind, you dumb, human. They just can't wrap their head around the entertainment aspect of it.
There's that. And then I would hope what I do, what you do, in-game syndicate, run the Sims, where you are trying to, yes, there's the element, like I just said, where I'm firing off some pick'ems to have a sweat, but also the element where these are peer-to-peer games where we're trying to beat our opponents, where the fun is the process, the solving, the strategizing, and obviously you're gambling at the end of the day, but you're doing it from an angle that I think is a lot different than I think if you explain DFS to Dave Ramsey, like his head would probably explode, like understanding that there's a lot of us who wager and gamble in this context, because he's thinking about it through a very specific lens. And it's not to say that problem gambling doesn't exist, but even as someone who has had to do multiple fill out forms, workarounds, talk to support for both DraftKings and Underdog just to raise deposit limits, to get past state law here in Massachusetts where stuff resets and all of this, they do a good job making you jump through hoops to get money on the site. So yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of word vomit, but it's a complicated thing.
That all made sense to me. That basically he just doesn't understand or doesn't care to understand too. Some of these people, I just don't think they even care to, the third guest. Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't like any of this. You mentioned the DFS peer-to-peer, what would he say of prediction markets are peer-to-peer? And is that okay? They probably don't even know that at all. Is that a gateway to hell too? A prediction market, which is another reason why they shouldn't have gotten into humbly. I have no idea how their companies work, but I felt like they got into the sports markets too soon. It's going to cause more problems than it's worth. Who knows? That maybe they're right. But this is one of the reasons, because guys like Dave Ramsey, who's a smart person, right? It's hard to say he's not a smart person, are going to be like, oh, sports betting, prediction markets, sports betting. Got it. You're a gateway to hell too, where you can't even go wait, it's peer-to-peer. It's peer. And you could sell at any time. It's a contract that you could sell at any moment. So they're not even locked in, unlike sports betting, and they can't get banned.
Yeah. And isn't it, there's an element to, and I mean, we've talked about this on the show, and you've brought up addiction rates and other things. You've specifically brought up the kleptomania, the different stuff like that. We live in a culture right now, or I should say the take culture, where we use one single event, one single anecdote to make sweeping writ large arguments. Think about even and I don't want to get fucking political with the ICE thing and that just happened there, but both sides are taking that one thing and making big sweeping arguments about what's going on in the country, writ large. And the same thing with this is you hear one, bad story about, someone that's definitely suffered from gambling addiction, and then making that be the case for how the entire industry should be operated. And it's just it just doesn't work like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking about that on the drive earlier today. I was in the car, and I was because that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, is how we all have to suffer for this tiny portion of the population.
Yeah.
And I was or is that just all law? It's basically all law, is us having to suffer for a tiny portion of the population that causes an outside majority of the problems. Because even stupid ones, or not important ones, or not I don't even know what I would say, like life altering or something, like the speed limit or something. Like you're not going to drive with your kid in the car going 150 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, even if you were driving 150 miles an hour, we'd be like, hey, Pete, that's dangerous, dude. Don't drive 100. You'd be like, sorry. You know what I mean? But like the laws are really for just like a small percentage of the people who do it. Now in the private sector with like sports betting and stuff, should these people who are super, super low risk of addiction, women over 50, Hispanic women specifically over 50 have like friggin' almost nil addiction results. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist though. Should they have to jump through all these hoops the same way as a young guy who's way more likely to be? That type of stuff just drives me crazy. But maybe that is the only way to do it. I don't know. But like you mentioned the addiction rates, but just so someone who, if they never saw that episode, according to the Institutes of Addiction, they're like based in Vegas. There's two types of addiction: behavioral and drug, substance. And long story short, according to their research, about 70%. It's hard to prove because there's so much overlap. About 70% of all gambling addicts are either addicted to a substance or a behavior other than gambling. And it could be as high as like 80% or something like that. And not that means that it's good that this is happening, but the vast majority of those people are already addicted to something else. Now, is gambling, then they talked about this on the Risk Takers podcast too a little bit, like is gambling, and I think because SP I know listens to our show and he's listened to a while, so he's probably heard some of these arguments. Is gambling as bad? And Rufus is like, yeah, you can lose your whole lot, all the money you have very quickly. Of course it is bad. But I think of it more like that Dave Chappelle bit in what was his movie about pot? Doctor says I need a Becchiotomy. Where Bob Saget at AA is like, have you ever had to suck dick for your weed addiction?
Yeah,
like, no, I can't say I have. I don't know how many guys out there are sucking dick for fucking to bet their six leg single game parlay. I can't imagine it's very high. Half baked, that's it, Lou Doug.
So I don't know. I mean, it's I feel like we've had these conversations on lulls. It always feels like you kind of just circle the same arguments where it's like, yes, this stuff is happening. And then there's the other part we've gotten into before as well, which is like then how the sports betting sites use the problem gambling as a way to push their own bottom line initiatives under the guise of trying to protect the better, which isn't actually what's occurring there.
And just like when you're talking publicly like this, you kind of seem like an asshole when you're defending, when you're saying like gambling addiction has all these flaws, because it's like, people are really affected and it's awful. So like, even pushing back slightly kind of makes you look bad. And then defending the sites like you're saying here, where like they're not behaving ethically either. They advertise like you're going to win a whole bunch of money, and then if you win it all, they're going to limit you or ban you. And then they actively, lobby against any sort of intervention to help bettors. There's a lot of nuance to this conversation. And then there's the reality of it all too, Pete, right? Which is like, we're all just dudes talking on a podcast, ours or theirs or anyone else's. And what's actually going on in the mean streets of your capital is something completely different. And they don't know any of this stuff, nor do they care, nor do they have to. They should, but they don't. Yeah. And so like what ends up actually happening is just going to be a completely, a separate piece to these conversations.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. It's, I don't know. I have, I don't ever, at least from my vantage point and like the kind of content I make and the stuff I'm doing, like, I don't feel guilty about it, like the way that I interact with fantasy and DFS and even sports betting. Like I don't, maybe someone would say I am propagating it like in a big way or whatever, like in the macro sense. But I think like if you probably looked at like addiction rates or problem gambling for like an audience of anyone within the DFS space relative to these bigger markets, I don't even think it would be close, right? Like if you say you pulled like a big sports betting TikTok or, you know, something like that, a big Instagram account that was just shilling out 8-leg parlays all the time versus the audience of any fantasy gamer or anyone in the unabated Discord or anyone within our neck of the woods. I mean, don't you think those statistics would be wildly different?
They have to be. I'm thinking like two examples, like Parlay Picker was one, right? Like his, and people don't remember, he was the Jacksonville Jaguars employee who did the Superman / Office Space scheme to like take money from the company, and then he bet it / play DFS with it. And then you look into the details, and it's like, yeah, he bought a house, he bought a Ferrari, he bought like all this stuff, and it's like, wait a second. If you're this super, gambling addicted person, wouldn't you use that money on your gambling habit? You know, why wouldn't every penny, like a drug addict, eventually they get every penny of the drug dealers? I don't know. It seems like maybe this wasn't all just about, might have something to do with just the type of person you are. And then like to your comment about like whether you should feel guilty or not. I know someone who's a friend of mine who got addicted to the slot machines. They in Illinois, like they made them legal at bars and stuff like that. And this is an example of why these things should be illegal. It's like with pot too, like any of these things is, and I'm not saying they should be, I'm just saying this is an example that there's a lot of like law abiding people of this portion that's going to get addicted and wouldn't have another addiction. This is a small percentage of the population, but of them, there's like a group of law-abiding people who just wouldn't have done that recreational drug or the slot machines or the sports books without the regulatory apparatus approving it.
Yeah,
that person does exist.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty small and it sucks when it happens. But anyways, my buddy was a perfect example of this, and he got addicted to these fucking stupid slot machines. And like he wasn't, he didn't have a high-paying job or anything. So like, but he was like 20, 30, 40 grand on these stupid machines at the bar, you know what I mean? Not even like at the casino.
Yeah.
And so I go, listen, like, first of all, I don't think it's like, it works that you can just like intervene and go like, hey man, you're doing something bad. You should stop and go seek help. Like, I don't think that generally works. So what I did was, listen, buy these 2 books. And I sent them links to like the best video poker strategy books. Like that there's people who make money playing these slot machines in the world. It does exist. There's AP players. They're a real thing. You could, sometimes it might just be benefits.
You were like, here's how to get good at this.
Yeah. Listen, if you're gonna be an addict, be fucking smart about it.
No,
maybe I'm a horrible friend.
No, it sounds like the techniques that I have to do on April, like my toddler. Like I can't just tell her not to do something. Like that does not work. I have to reframe the situation or come up with a better idea of something she could do. So you're constantly getting creative of like, no, please stop crawling on the table and jumping off. How about we go outside and ride your bicycle? It's like you just got to find something that's a little less dangerous to entice them over to.
Pretty much. So anyways, he now is a millionaire. No, I'm kidding.
That would be an incredible story.
The reason I'm bringing up the story though is because he didn't use the books. He didn't even go to the links, didn't buy them, didn't care to get better. And I'm like, why didn't you?
That wasn't his relationship with it. He was never thinking of it of like, let me exploit an inefficiency or try to get an edge, or he didn't have the genes of like an advantage player who was actually willing to engage with it that way. Yeah,
exactly. I asked him like years later, like, why didn't you you would have like at least broke even if you would have followed the perfect strategy and then went from bar to bar or whatever, finding the best machines and like asking around. Like you could have at least broken even with your addiction. You know what I mean? And he's just like, I like the Candy Crush version or what. It was something that dumb.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe you like the Candy Crush version a little better, but like, you know, now you don't have a house. You know, like,
yeah.
But the reason I'm saying that is like, because if you think about your content or like you know, Unabated, Run the Sims, ETR, etc., they're not even consuming your shit. And if they were, they'd be in a better spot.
Right. For sure.
You know, yeah, they're just it's like what Bob said. The more I think about that stupid tweet, it's just like it's an IQ issue. It's like there's IQ and addiction. That's basically it, and they're probably linked, those two things too, by the way. And it's just like if you can't, it's hard to put yourself in the mindset, almost probably impossible, of these people, because I'm going. Look, here's the two best books that I know of on slot machines. Because
I love it. I did want to pull this up. Shout out Lou Dog sent this to me a bit ago, but I think this is from yesterday. Today's White House press briefing had a 98% chance of running over 65 minutes until Karoline Leavitt abruptly ended it with seconds to spare. Traders on the no side made 50x in seconds. Do you think this abrupt ending, Brian, is market manipulation from inside the White House or a pure coincidence?
I would say pure coincidence. Who is saying it's not pure coincidence? The people who are.
I mean, you can't have this story without immediately doing the why is that. I mean, we've already had this administration, right? They've been very pro crypto stuff. There's been a little pumping and dumping with some of the Trump coin type things there. Would it be that shocking if there was some insider trading on a press conference here?
I love the Baron Trump memes. Like, and this is always a big Baron Trump thing. Like, he's always manipulating the crypto market and stuff. I don't.
Can we watch the tape and see how abrupt this feels? All right, let's do this here. I want to see how.
I do love these markets though. This is my favorite thing about prediction markets is you could bet on the stupid shit like this. I think it's hilariously awesome.
Hang on.
Of last year, and so in November.
The Venezuelan thing's a good.
So I would encourage everyone to take a look.
Hang on. Oh, wait. Hang on. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
All right, I just want to see like how unnatural the ending. Yeah.
In November of last year, and so I would encourage everyone to take a look at the website. It's quite well done, and thank you all very much. It's great to be back with you.
Okay, wait. Pause it there. Okay, I think I see Chauncey Billups.
Oh man,
that's definitely Chauncey Billups there.
Yeah, I mean it is absurd. It seems a little too too much like a coincidence there. I wonder what the data is on how long they normally go, how unusual, why. But how about what's your answer to this question, Brian, as someone who loves this? Why are people betting on easily human controllable events?
I said if people bet on the WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, as long as they don't I think the Coinbase guy said this too, which maybe isn't a good person to have defend my argument, but if nobody knows the answer, who cares if it's rigged? Like, it doesn't even matter. You don't know. Like, as long as you and the guy you're betting against don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think the actual it being rigged even matters. Problem is when they're actively manipulating it. But I think Brian Armstrong or somebody like that said you need inside information in these markets because that's what directs the signal to the actual answer you're looking for. So like if you're really trying to find out what the poll is, whatever the market is, will soybean subsidies be blah, 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 whatever the fuck it is. If you really want to know the answer to that, you need the insider info.
Yeah. Yeah, the quote retweets are mad for sure.
To me, this is just like the NBA prop get people like. I seriously.
You think like if you had to assign a percentage to like there being funny business here. It sounds like you're way more on like, it sounds like you're sub 10% or something. I'm like over 50, I would think.
My gut reaction is always sub 10%, but then I remember my new adage is everyone's stupid and everything's rigged. So maybe it's closer to 50% than I'm willing to admit.
I would want to see some more data on like I would want to see how long is the typical press briefing. 2, how does she normally in, because it is kind of a classic thing, I will say, if I'm going to play devil's advocate to my own thought that there's funny business going on here, where there's a lot of follow-up questions and the press secretary storms off. That's like a pretty classic thing that happens at these kind of briefings. So yeah, I would need to see, someone needs to put together a little Rolodex of how these other ones have gone with some data. I need to see more of a case here.
Yeah, I mean, how much is she benefiting? Like, who's benefiting from the, I don't know. I mean, are they doing it just to have fun and fuck with people? But then again, you know, there's baseball players making millions willing to throw away their careers for $7,000. So, I mean, I don't know.
Look at this, Ryan. This coach tweet. Clock glance plus cheeky smile is an insane tell. Watch this. Looks up, smirk. Brian, look at that, dude. Oh, dude. That is good. Are you seeing that smirk, Brian?
Well, do you think she knows how to work Polymarket?
Look at that smirk right there at the buzzer. I don't think she has to know how to work Polymarket. She just needs someone to tell her, hey,
that Chauncey Billups is back there going like, you cut out at 104, baby. I'll handle the rest. Did you see the Venezuelan one?
Which one was that?
Where they didn't pay the people out who bet that the U.S. would invade Venezuela.
Why didn't they pay him out?
Because
it doesn't count as invading.
It doesn't count as an invasion. I don't know the exact details, but yeah, it didn't meet. They're saying it didn't meet the criteria.
And yeah, I kind of, because it's like, you know, what is it? Extricating the leader. Like, I guess it's like technically, yeah. Now you get into the legalese of what does invade actually mean.
There was bombs though, right? People died.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. But I guess if I was on the other side, I'd be like, hey, technically it was an invasion. You know, who knows? I just sent you a tweet in on Discord, which like if we're guessing like all this stuff leads to like negative territory, I think this kind of like sums it up perfectly.
Down in my bunker as radioactive ashes rain down on my city, I checked my Polymarket yes shares for atomic bomb detonation in 2026 using the last remnants of internet worth $0. UMA resolved it as no because it was technically a hydrogen bomb and not an atomic one.
Like whenever I see these like God will return 3% chance markets and will the sun come up tomorrow? It's like, what are we fucking doing?
The only thing that comes to mind when I hear that about the invading, not getting, you know, paid out or what, I'm just like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like, that's all I got for you on that.
Yeah. Because honestly, with that one, you probably could have sold it. It probably went up like big, you know, in the news, you know, during the whatever evacuation, wherever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
It probably went. You probably could have sold and got like 95% of your money, anyways, at a certain point.
Yeah. Crazy times, indeed. We had to get started a little bit late, and I have doing the Battle Royale, actually playoff best ball edition of the Bash here in a few minutes. But Brian, we're also going to have a Bully the Sims tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, Yuta and Ship My Money, talking through the wild card DFS slate. You mentioned NBA and PGA. Anything else people should know about here?
We got the Draft Caddies playoff stuff working too. So Draft Caddy, NBA, PGA, Run the Sims.
There you go. Check it out. And And yeah, we'll get back in a little bit of a rhythm here after the holidays. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us as Brian and I help facilitate a portal to hell for everyone. And we'll be sure to put the links for those slot machine books in the show notes as well. We get a little money if you use our Amazon link, so that would be great. All right, for Brick, for Ramsey, I'm Pete. We'll